Hello, you join me from a very hot Ford Focus, so excuse the glow. Some of the content in this video was filmed a week or so before the end of the video, so consequently you'll see a bit of a bodge that's then rectified later, so you mustn't kill me in the comments. Enjoy the video. If you do like the stuff, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on another one. And hello to all the new Focus fans that have joined since this car's joined the fleet. Okay, so we're going to have a go at replacing the mirrors. First we'll do is the passenger side, because the electric knob isn't on this one, so I'll have a look at this one first and see how it is. So you can obviously see on this one it's a replacement mirror anyway, and it looks like someone's damaged the door card there, unfortunately. But this should just pull off according to the internet. Yeah, see, someone's been in there. Yeah, just a 10mm socket in there. We'll see what happens in a moment. Yeah, 110mm, and then you can see the electrical connector in there and the mirror there. I'm going to clean all that up first. Looks like the foam's seen better days, but yeah, we'll have a look. Okay, so I found the best plan is put the mirror back on and just let the bolt hold the weight. Just take one of the side screws out and just prop the door card open a little. You can pull the wire to one side then, because you've got to disconnect this and you just can't get your hand down here. So should be able to pop that off now. Yeah, pretty easy. There's a little tab. You just press that tab and it pulls out. Should be able to get that mirror off now. Right, so I would say always check before you put it all back together that it works. Wicked. Onto the driver's side. I'm guessing it's still going to pull off, but there's going to be something connected to the back of there. So let's have a look at that. Yeah, so it just pops out the same and then goes forward like that. That's it. I don't think we're going to have to disconnect that at all. Just going to undo that screw again, pop this back. You can see this side's had a replacement mirror, which we knew because it's black. None of the foam exists in here, so this one should be fairly simple. Yeah, it is definitely easier if you undo this screw, leave the mirror connected before you even mess with this. Then you can just pull that out and press that tab and just separate the mirror. Hang on, couldn't do it with one hand, but it is literally just press that tab. You can see that little indentation there then goes down enough that you can pull it out of there. So yeah, just a 10mm socket, and yes, one does exist in the world. And we just spin that off. Obviously I'm only going to film a bit of this because I've got to catch the mirror, save it scratching the side of the car. Right, so one thing to note with this replacement mirror, and it's clearly not a Ford one, is it's so light. It is amazing how much less weight there is in that. Right, so driver side is on as well. Annoyingly, we have got no in and out. Up and down works. Whether or not the motor's at fault, it can't be the switch, because believe it or not, the cheap aftermarket one was working. Not a lot I can do about that. I could cobble the two together, put the cap off this onto that, but I'm not going to. I figure because it's the driver's side, I'll get my angle about right anyway by pushing it with my finger and just leave it. It's fine. Shame that, but yeah, what can you complain about really? I mean, I paid 16 quid for the driver's side and 15 for the passenger delivered off eBay from a scrapyard. It looks better from the outside. It is what it is. I might revisit in the future and try and cobble it together, but to be honest, I doubt it. There you go. I think you'll agree that looks 100 times better. They're not without fault, as I say. This one has a little scuff on the corner there, which I can just touch with a touch-up pen. And then, like I say, the driver's side, it's got a little scratch on it there. And the in and outie, as I said, doesn't work, but it's not the end of the world. Let you in on a little secret now. The car is Metropolis blue. These mirrors were advertised as sapphire blue. It looks a very, very light shade different, but only down to the fact of, if you see many cars with plastic mirror caps, they look slightly different colour. I remember my red Focus years ago, they started going pink, and I think if nobody told you, you'd just assume that they'd slightly faded. Again, it depends what light you're in, but they are 100 times better. I'm well impressed with that. 31 quid to replace them. Right, we are a few days on from the first tinkering video, and I've bought a puller to get this off. I figure I'm going to have a look at it, but I've got to get it off anyway to get a replacement if I can't do anything with it. So I might as well get that off first and have a look. Right, we got it off. Unfortunately, I didn't film it. Just let me show you. I've got this puller which sits there and then acts on this and pulls it. That was doing nothing. It's cheap monkey metal. Where are we? And the knurled part was just spinning around, so I've got some mole grips on the thread, and yeah, we popped it. Okay, so we're in the garage now. As you can see, I've got it off. I'm very wary this spring's under a massive amount of tension, but if you can see that, the pin basically should go all the way through and then finish off at the top. I think what's happened is it's snapped off there, so it's only held in the one side. Now I'm wondering if I can, the bottom part is loose, I'm wondering if I can drill that top off and put a pin of some kind through it. Should be able to keep the tension of the spring by putting the arm in the vise, he says. Okay, for reference for me, the spring hooks over there like that. You can see the pin goes all the way through. Should be able to do something with this. Well, that was a trial. Yes, I know this is a super bodge, but it gets me out of the crap while I get one sorted. I'm going to order one. This pin was through, and basically it sheared off, so it was only holding one side, hence it was flopping about. The metal is torn there, hence the big washers. All I'd done was drill it out to M6 and put a nut and a bolt through it, but I can't find a lock nut, so I've just locked two nuts together. That will be down the bottom, you won't see it, but I appreciate that looks uber gash, but at least I can put my wipers on with it not flapping about and hitting the A-pillar. So I am going to sort one, but you know, in the immediate aftermath, at least I've got a working wiper. Okay, so yes, it looks gash, and I can't get the plastic cover on, so I will definitely have to get a new one because that's going to irritate the balls off me. But for now, it will now wipe, and what it was doing, it was hitting over here. Let's just see. There we go. I've got wipers that actually stop where they should. It was going right over the A-pillar and then our parking level. So I'll take that as a win, even though that is a super bodge. And also I should show you this now. When I went to set the mirror manually, you know, I was saying earlier in the video it wouldn't go left to right. It now goes left and right and up and down. So I think it was just a bit dirty, and me pressing it manually cleaned the cogs up or something. So I've got both mirrors working. So yeah, I know people are getting a bit dismayed that this is a little bit of a bodge. Yeah, And I can't put up with that. If you know me and my OCD, I cannot look at a washer and a nut through that. But I was frightened whenever I was wiping the screen that it was going to snap off. At least now it gives me chance to get an arm. Right, so we've got the car on ramps. It's in gear. Don't panic. Handbrake's on. So we're going to have a quick oil change and filter change. We've got to take this under tray off. I noticed how someone's cut a hole in for access for the filter, but I'm going to take it off anyway because I've never seen under the car, just to see what sort of condition we've got. I've just wiped that off. It was just like dry, dusty oil really. It's quite dry under here, not too bad. I think the only bits of oil are where when you take the oil filter off it just splashes everywhere. So obviously this is really hot because I've just come home from work. Now, as I showed you in the last video, where it said on the MOT rusty subframe and stuff, it is just flaky stuff. That's as solid as you like. It's more so the powder coating that's come off, and there's nothing wrong with that. A bit of a wire brush and some Lanagard or something on there, jobs are good. And it's really good under here. Floor, I mean, the thing is, on the MOT he put rusty fuel pipe, you know. There's nothing under. This is ridiculous. Obviously the MOT tester was a bit of a tool. Nothing wrong with that under there. It said loose heat shield on the exhaust. That's this aluminium stuff that runs here. I can see at the back it's hanging a little low, but it's not going to go anywhere. Yeah. So this will all get done in the next few months. I'm going to have it in the garage, get all that wire brushed off and done. But anyway, back to the oil. Right, it's a 13mm. I've just loosened that off. And let's see how dirty this is. The trouble with diesels, especially older ones, the oil looks dirty in 5 minutes anyway. So as I've said, I've got no history on the last service on this one. So we'll just have to see. I'm going to guess, because of the way it's bubbling up, it's fairly old. You can't really tell. It's thin anyway because it's obviously hot, and it's only 530 in these anyway. But usually when oil bubbles up like that, to me it's very old. I'd imagine what happens is this car was probably serviced every year on the MOT. It's always gone to the same garage. So it's probably been in a good year and a fair few thousand miles. Right, your oil filter is right up there, just above the steering rack. That should prove fun. Wish me luck. I'm going to put a pair of rubber gloves on and see if I can get this off. Right, that is putting up one hell of a fight. I don't have a ratchet strap, oil strap, you know. I'm not one for banging a screwdriver through, and to be honest, the access isn't there. What I'm going to try and get a little chisel on this, just drift the edge. Now, I wouldn't normally do this because you never know you've got the right oil filter till you actually got it on, do you? But it's not critical I have the car running, so if I get this off and my new oil filter doesn't fit, it's not the end of the world. Wish me some more luck. Alright, I'm afraid I did what I said I wasn't going to do. Put a screwdriver through it. Bloody hell. That's fucking tight, that is. It's moved, but it's going to drop oil everywhere, but luckily I've accounted for that. Fun. Fucking hell, that was way harder than it needed to be. Just put a smaller screwdriver through it just to get it. We've got it now, but bloody hell, nightmare. Right, while that is dripping off, I'm just going to spray some degreaser on it, you know, engine cleaner, geyser, just to thin that out. But yeah, there was absolutely no reason that oil filter needed to be that tight. As everybody knows, if you just put a smear of oil on it, it only has to go hand tight. That was just ridiculous. Right, there's my oil and filter. It takes about 5.6 litres. I've got 6. I'm led to believe by the internet, if it's true, Comline is original equipment. I don't know whether that's true or not, but that's what I've got. Let's hope it fits. Okay, I've just put a bit of oil around the seal. There's no point pre-filling this oil filter because obviously it sits on the side, it'll just pour out everywhere. Right, full 5 litres in, sun plugs tight, oil filters on tight. I'm going to start it now, get the pressure up, and then just check the oil filter isn't leaking. Put the tray back on, drop it down level and top up. Right, my tray is back on, 5.5 litres in there. See how black it goes already. And that's it. So I'll check that again obviously tomorrow. Took me ages to get the tray back on. Somebody had bodged it before and just put a load of self-drilling screws in, so I've done it all properly. But yeah, happy times. That's took way longer than it needed to. Right, there we go, look. Just to show I'm not always a bodger. We're a few days on from when I started filming this video, and we've now got a replacement wiper arm on. Bye bye bodge you on.